Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Oh, is it a bit... Is it loud enough? I don't know. I've been fiddling with the settings. You would let me know if it's too low, wouldn't you? How is everybody? Oh, Andrew's in, and so is Cyrus. That's nice. I wonder if we'll get anybody else in tonight. I wonder if we'll get any real people in. Or are they all fake? I guess we'll never know. 7 people in, only 1 like. God. G-Man's in, he says howdy. He's a rootin' tootin' shootin' cowboy. I've got to keep my voice down because it is a school night. But howdy. Howdy, partner. It all sounds good, excellent. Like I said, I had a fiddle with my settings because, whoops, for years there has been noticeable hum interference, maybe a bit of hiss, I don't know, on the sound, because my lights, the lights that you see, or maybe it was the camera, I'm not sure, I think it was the lights, was interfering because they were USB powered and it was plugged into my hub. They're powered by the hub, and the hub is connected to the computer, and so you get hum. What's it called? There's USB kind of interference noise, USB noise. There is a name for it, but it escapes my brain. And I've got a filter, but I didn't use it. But what I did today, because I was feeling a bit flush because I sold a guitar, is I treated myself. I pushed the boat out to a extension cord, extension lead, extension cable with inbuilt USB power. So this has got its own separate supply now, so there shouldn't be any interference, and I don't need any noise reduction. And so it's just the sound, because before I had filters and EQ trying to get rid of the hiss, and now there should be a purer sound. I don't know why I bother, because no one's watching. Wadsley's in. He says good evening. So what does anyone want to talk about? 14 people in, only 3 likes. That means 11 people don't like the stream. That's not very good, is it? It's not very good at all. So we just all sit here. Andrew says, Darren, how do you feel about the so-called ABBA concert? I don't think anything. I don't think anything of ABBA, because they're not touring, are they? It's virtual, so no. Just say no. Unless you like that kind of thing. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. Sean says audio file. Not really. Just I finally got around to fixing a problem that's been with me since I got the fancy lights. And I thought, do you know what? I should buy a separate extension cable with which to power the camera and the lights. You know, 'cause it's all done via USB, you see. USB power. Everything's USB these days. And so it's got its own power cord, which I can see here. You know? Up the production values. Just slightly. Just slightly. Any thoughts on M83? I thought the Hurry Up We're Dreaming album's good, but I didn't think the one after that was much cop. Garrett says, evening. Thanks again for putting Penguin Cafe Orchestra in the spotlight. Here comes the beverage. You have been censored. Beverage has been delivered. Zippo has retracted his message. Obviously it was a very contentious message. He was probably he's probably enjoyed the new Ricky Gervais special that's on Netflix at the moment, which me and the missus we enjoyed tonight. No, he's just saying good evening. Good evening, Darren. I thought it was Ricky Gervais himself appearing, but that is Zippo 42, apparently. He's the 42nd of the Zippos. Yeah, there are 41 in front of him. Can you believe that? Whoops, ignore that. It's just for the headphone users. Just for the headphone users. Whoops. What did I knock down? I knocked down something. And that was a plectrum solo. Garrett says, I don't know if you got my comment the other day, but I was wondering if you don't, should I buy the history box set? Well, I did get your message, but I was going to answer via video, via the medium of video. Medium of video. Now, do you want me to answer now? Do you want me to do it now? Because I could pretend and then like kind of drop it. Should we do that? Should we be clever? Should we be clever and record it? I can record it, and then I can upload it. You know, we can pretend that it's like a video. Oh, that's hot. It's very hot. Wait there. I won't be a minute. You may hear the tinkle and clatter of plates in the background as the missus does the washing up. Oh, I can't reach it. It's too far away. Oh, now where's the rest of it? Ah, here we go. Ah, 'cause I'm a wanker. I'm a massive wanker. Oy. Right, now imagine for a minute. I'm going to go to black, and then I'm going to come in and we're going to do the Penguin Cafe history. The Penguin. Oh. Think, Darren. Think. You're going to do a Penguin Cafe history review. All right. I'm going to do it live, but I'm going to hit record, and then I'm going to upload it, and it's going to look like I've done it on the day. All right. But only will know that it was done as part of this live stream. Are you good with that? Should we do that? That's different, isn't it? Is that different? I'm sure I've done something like this before. But anyway, imagine that I'm doing that. So I'm going to go to blank, and then I'm going to do a thing, and then there's going to be end credits, but I would be recording it to the hard drive and streaming it. And then, you know, is that good? I think that sounds good. Hey, that was good, wasn't it? And I can use it. And so hopefully that's answered your question, Garrett. Where are we? Zipper said, wonder if you've got a listen E. What's a listen E? I don't know what that is. Mullen says, will Simon Jeff's piano music be part of the review series? Yeah, why not? On the new Brad Maherd album. No, I don't know what that is. Andrew says, Darren in 5.1. It's only stereo, I'm afraid. It's only stereo. Sean said it's kind of trippy. It is. Zeb asked, what's my absolute go-to PCO live CD LP? Live? Well, again, there are only really two. There's When in Rome, which is them at the... Is it Queen Elizabeth Hall? From 1987. Which is alright. But then you've got Concert Programme, which is more interesting. It's a double album. It was released on the Wyndham Hill imprint. I've actually got it. I managed to find a copy on vinyl a few years back. It's not in good nick, but you know, it's hard to find. So I was pretty pleased with that. I didn't pay an arm and a leg for it. But that one, they're a bit more playful with the arrangements, you know, so you feel like you're listening to something different. So I'd probably go with that one. And it's a double album as well, so you get more of a complete concert experience, whereas When in Rome's a bit more, you know, reduced, a bit more cut down. So it says, I finally got around to the entirety of Hurry Up We're Dreaming, and yeah, it's a really beautiful album. with amazing soundscapes and production, as well as encapsulating some of the best of the pop music of the early 2010s. Yeah, it's not a bad record, but the follow-up, I just didn't get. It sounded like it was from a different person. I suppose that's probably good in some ways, but I was like, no, that album's the better album. It's a good headphone album as well. Andrew says, was the history ever on vinyl? No, it's just as a CD. You've got to remember this was 2001 when vinyl was very unfashionable and everyone had thrown away their record players, except me. So, no. Sean says, what other bands are you considering doing a full discography overview of? Just curious. Well, I've got to do Roxy Music again. I've got to do David Sylvian again, because they got lost. Because I did those before. Crikey, one day maybe I'll do Bowie again. I know I did up to oh crikey, where did I get up to Bowie? Crikey, did I get up to, I got up to Scary Monsters I think with Bowie. I know I did a lot of them and I need to do those again. It's like, oh god, it's just so intimidating because I'd already done it, you know. I wouldn't mind doing Kate Bush again. I did some of Kate Bush, but I wouldn't mind doing like a complete one. Laurie Anderson, you know. So it'll be those kind of people that I like. It's mainly me. It's just me talking about a record collection more than anything else. These are the things that I own, or things that I think are worthy of attention in my record collection. So, you know, it's not going to be the Rolling Stones. Not unless you offer me a lot of money to do it. But no one's going to do that. But yeah, it's that kind of thing really, because, you know, I've done the whole prog scene. There's nothing left of prog to talk about, is there really? You know, once you've done Genesis and Van de Graaff Generator and Yes, that's it, isn't it really? There's no other bands worth talking about. Munton says, that was really cool, thank you. That's alright. Munton says, I know it would be great for album review after PCO since you're doing it. Presidents of the United States of America, you bastard, you second guessed me. You know me too well. But I'll only be doing 2 of these because I bought them on CD especially. It's the first 2 albums because I used to play them an awful lot when I was commuting to work and that, and I really like those first 2 albums. After that, they go a little bit, you know. But yeah, he knows me too well. Cyrus says, would you see a 4K Blu-ray of Still Life at the Penguin Cafe? Well, I've got a Blu-ray. I've got the Blu-ray of it, but 4K, you can't really do it because it was done on videotape. It wasn't filmed on like film. You know this, Cyrus, because you're a film bod. It was only ever videoed, so upscaling it to HD is a bit of a waste of time. I think VHS is probably its natural format, and I've owned all formats of it. VHS, I've still got the Laserdisc. And if you're good girls and boys, I will show you my Laserdisc. The only Laserdisc I own. I actually had a big Laserdisc collection at one point. That band, I had all their Laserdiscs. Sylvan and Fripp in Japan on Laserdisc, yeah, I had that. So there you go. Vaughan says, even Darren, nice idea for Kate Bush. Yeah, everyone loves a bit of Bush. Sean says, if you do Rolling Stones, I'll leave. Well, I've done one of their albums, but I know people in the past have said, why don't you do the Rolling Stones? It's like, Small Faces, I do them because I only had 4 albums. Is it 4 albums? I think so. I think I own 3 of them. It's only their first album. Small Faces was weird though because they had different albums in America and over here, a bit like the Who at the beginning of their career. You know, a lot of these British bands, a lot of British bands in the 60s, they had like a British version of their album, and then they had an American version which had like some singles or different configurations. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to get your head around all of that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing maybe Small Faces. That could be a thing. We don't know. Lang Turner, I could bore everyone shitless with his back catalogue. So there you go. Did I ever open up the All Virgos Are Mad CD? No, it's still on the shelf. It's still up there, I believe. Shall we have a look at it? Oh. Look, it's sealed. Look at it. It's sealed. I'll never open it. I'll never open it. And it's the Michael Brook. There's a Michael Brook track on it called Diffusion, which was probably one of the best songs he ever released. And yeah, and that's that. Mind you, there are other things in my collection that I've never opened, like M83 Hurry Up We're Dreaming on vinyl. I've still got that sealed. Oh dear, I am such a cheeky monkey. I am such a cheeky monkey, man. Oh, and I've got a copy of Leo Abrams' album Honey Trap that's sealed up there, because my copy of that disappeared, and I think Herb may have thrown it in the bin. I had to buy another copy of it, and I didn't bother opening it because Herb went through a phase of throwing my CDs in the bin. My mate Diderot from Brazil brought me a CD over when he visited, and yeah, that went in the bin as well. And you don't know until you go and look on the shelf and they're gone. We had forks, spoons. We had to buy new cutlery because forks and spoons kept going missing. In the bin, I think. Never catch him do it. He doesn't do it now. This is when he was little. This is when he was a little toddler. Mind you, he did chew all my featured artist CDs, so he's got good taste there. This week, featured artist box set's out, isn't it? I'm not buying it. I'm resisting myself. I'm resisting it. I'm going to resist it. You don't understand. I really want to buy it, but, you know. Maybe if he's watching, he'll send me a copy. Hey, Bobby, if you're watching, you know, I kept making jokes on Facebook about your missus keeping her titties fresh. You didn't have to get her to wrap them in the cellophane. I mean, I was only joking, you know, about the tinfoil and that, but you kind of took it to its natural conclusion by using, you know, cling film to keep them titties fresh, you know. Bobby, you shouldn't take my comments seriously, man. You know, you make me paranoid, like you're watching me all the time. Yeah, Arcane. That's a good one as well. Arcane on Real World. There's some bits on that as well that they worked on. Sarah says, I'm down to see the Laserdisc collection. Well, I've only got one left, I'm afraid. So, but yeah, I used to have a big collection of movies and that. Like I said, I've told this story before. One Christmas, I bought Star Trek on Laserdisc, big box of Star Trek movies, and me and the missus spent Christmas just watching them all on Laserdisc. This is like, I don't know, I guess it would have been about 97. It was just before the birth of DVD, and DVD became popular over about 99, I think it was. So yeah, it was a great Christmas, that was. Roger says, hello Darren, it's been a while since I saw one of your streams. What guitars do you have now? I have all the guitars except one of the guitars because I sold it the other day. It's gone to a new home in Wales. It was a Jazzmaster. It was a shit guitar. I didn't like it. I'm over it now. But hey, I've got to pay for the missus's repair on her car. I'm not bitter. I'm alright. I can handle it. But excuse me, I've got other guitars up if anyone's interested. Because, you know, I've got too many guitars, but I might take them off yet. I might actually change my mind because I've got enough money to cover the bills and that, so I could actually remove them. You know, so I could do. Andrew says, looking forward to Roxy. Good. Vorna says, I'm reading, following your advice, Mike Kelly's book, and I'm really enjoying it. A fun autobiography. Yeah, it's honest. It's an honest autobiography. The same way Hackett's autobiography is honest. You know, again, the thing about Mark Kelly, he doesn't come across as a very good guy, though. He's a bit of a, you know, I don't know. I don't know. He's not my kind of person, but I admire his honesty in it, you know. And I think he wrote a really good. I think he wrote a really good book. You know, I think you know, if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. Though somebody said that Fish took exception to it and that he reckons his his memories are wrong, but I don't know. I think he had a good summation. He had a good judgment of Fish in it. It must have been very nerve-wracking being in that band at the beginning, you know, knowing that you could be fired at any moment because, I don't know, your face don't fit or you're not bringing the ideas in or whatnot. But there you go. Cyrus says, Michael Giles drumming in PCO or in that band? Or with Anthony Phillips? Munton says, are you familiar with any work of Steve Gorn outside the Iron Mountain album? No. I found out an album he did in the 80s called Asian Journey with Nana Vasconcelos, which is really nice. No, I've not really looked him up. Munton said, when's the last time you bought something from a featured artist and or company? I don't remember. I haven't. I have no memory. Oh God, what would have been the last box set? It would have probably been the Thrak box set. That was the last one they did, wasn't it? So it would have been that. And that was it. And that would have been around 2019, wouldn't it have been? And that was that. Or was it? No, actually, I tell a lie. My memory's failing me. It would have been some of the anniversary stuff for that band. The 50th anniversary. I think they did a Crimson in the Court box again and another vinyl. And because I had this idea for the anniversary, I was going to lay naked with all the In the Court albums scattered around me. That's why I had to have so many of them. And I think I had something like 13 or 14 imprints of that album at that point. It was just to do a visual joke, and there was going to be copies of it covered with plums, as it were. You'd have loved it, guys. And it was going to be like American Beauty, but instead of rose petals, it was going to be copies of In the Court. But unfortunately, Declan Colgan kind of put paid to that. Damn you, Colgan. It would have been one of the greatest visual gags in progressive rock journalism / history. You don't get that. You don't get that on other channels. But I would have done it. Now, again, people who know me from a previous life may cast their minds back to a picture I've shared many years ago when I was running the forum about that band, and I posed with a copy of, I can't remember which album it was now, completely al fresco on the Sun Lounger with a copy of I can't remember what album it was, covering the Mrs. Best Friend. And like I said, I'm sure many people lost their lunch that day, and I was all oiled up as well. Oh, but that's the kind of guy I am. That's why Brendan Erie pops by just in case. But yeah, I think that would have been the last thing. So it's been ever since what they did to me, 2019, October 2019. Ever since that point, I haven't not a penny has gone their way and never will do. So, you know, but like I said, the Exposures box set. Oh, it's an album so dear to my heart, you know, and yeah, it's such a profound influence on me, you know. Am I going to buckle? And League of Gentlemen, I love the League of Gentlemen stuff, I really do, because it's just so anti-Crimson and it's so interesting. But hey, I can't do it. I'm like Homer with Bart Simpson not seeing the Itchy and Scratchy movie. I'm like that. I mean, I could put my my wish list up, and you could all have a whip round and send me a copy. Oh dear. Martin says, what if all this time the featured artist was an undercover landlord in your area? We're leaseholders, so he wouldn't be. He ain't no landlord of mine. Alex is in. He says, evening. Mutton says, earlier today I was listening to the third year band Universe Zero. Do you know about either of those groups? Universe sort of a rock in the position type thing. I think they're great. Again, a third year band I might have come across. I'm not sure about Universe Zero. Again, you listen to more stuff than I do because you're young, and I don't listen to any new stuff anymore. I only listen to, at the moment, Penguin Cafe Orchestra. So there we go. 27 people in, only 14 likes. Come on. 13 of you are sitting on their hands. Chris Crouch has retracted his message. Oh man, that's spoilt me evening. I really need to know what that message is. Anyone? Any more for any more? Munton says, third year played on stage in Hyde Park for Blind Faith, I think. That's probably where I've heard them from. Grantman says, I always remember having tears in my eyes listening to Friends of Mr. Cairo. Lifting a happy hour with these two, having a laugh, enjoying each other's company. Yeah, Vangelis is dead, everyone, but don't worry, I'm still here. I'm like a modern day Vangelis, right? But I'm not Greek, so we know about the Greeks. They invented bum fun, so So says, what about wet leg and squid? Anyway, so says, got to get back to Eddie. YouTube web series. You have a good one. And the same to you. Chris says, hi Darren. The newest band I recommend is Wolf Alice. Oh, I know them. Their first album. Mutton says, oh yeah, I almost forgot about Vangelis' passing. Seb says, Universe Zero is like the yang to Penguin Cafe Orchestra yin. Mutton says, are John Vangelis' albums worthy of review? Best of John Vangelis? Yeah? I'll find my way home. Do. I'll find my way home. Oh, Mr. Vangelis, sir. Oh, it sounds like something like Mr. Orfield might write. Oh, it's very good. It's very good. Do you know Mr. Orfield? He's very good too. Andrew says, what do you think about the Sex Pistols film without Johnny Rotten? Oh man, my problem is we're going to have to watch Arya Stark's tits because she's playing Jordan, and yeah, Maisie Williams gets her norks out, and I'm going to feel really embarrassed about that because I think of her as little Arya Stark, and I'm going to feel like I'm a dad, and I'm going to be going, I'm going to be saying to Mrs. Oh, has Maisie Williams' tits gone off the screen yet? So I'm going to be watching it like that. Couldn't I have cast somebody else as Jordan, please? Couldn't you? And yeah, Jordan died recently. I managed to get a copy of her biography before it sold out, so I was pretty pleased with that. Because I was meaning to get around to it. I've got about 8 books I've got to get through, and finally my Oxford University Press book about Laurie Anderson finally came after about 3 months of waiting, which I'm very happy with. And Munton says, do you prefer Vangelis over Klaus Schultz? I prefer Charles M. Schultz over Klaus Schultz. Yeah, Vangelis, he's the man, isn't he? He's the man. As for the Pistols film, yeah, it'd be all right. But you've got all these kids in it who don't even know what a Sex Pistol is. They don't even know what punk is, because they're like 12. They're all these young people doing it. All the punks are dead now. Munton's off for dinner. Thoughts on the Irish prog band Frupp? Well, they're Irish, so that can't be good, can it? I don't have any thoughts. I would have mentioned them if I had liked them, wouldn't I? But remember, prog is a British thing. If they were Northern Irish, we might be able to just get them in. Or are they Irish? If they're Northern Irish, I might be able to sneak them in the back door. You know what I'm saying? Oh boy. Grantman says, do you really trust the YouTube dashboard? I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything about YouTube at the moment, because they've changed their message now. They've got a new message where they blame me for it when I don't blame them. As you say, there's been a 46% drop in subscribers viewing my videos. I think that 46% were all fake accounts. Personally, I don't think I had any viewers at all. I think they're all. It's I mean, how do I know you're really Grant? Other than I know because you've got the little thing. Remember, folks, you can join the Darren Lock Club and get a little icon after your name, and feel special like Grant does, because Grant's very good because he supports me. I like Grant. He's my favourite. Look, I don't know what to think about YouTube. YouTube goes up and down and up and down. I know what they've done to Herb's channel. I mean, I can see it there. It's like, you know, they've just basically gets like 2 views a day now. 2 views? Are you kidding me? But then we found out what that was about. You know, it's a very... Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Well, I might just mute the mic, 'cause I think I've got a sneeze coming on. Oh, I think it's gone. I think we're all right. I didn't want to go, chew, and deafen everyone. So if I mute the mic, it's because I feel like I've got a sneeze. I feel like a sneeze is happening. Oh, I've gone all teary-eyed now. Look at me. Oh. But I don't know. I don't know what YouTube gets up to. It's just, you do what you do. Nobody's watching. It's like, well, you know, hello? It's like narrowcasting, which the whole point of YouTube is broadcasting and lots of people will be able to see you. But, you know, it's kind of, it's not really like that anymore. And, you know, I don't care, but I do care, you know. I don't care because I know what I do is fairly niche. But then I get in my suggestions people that do lesser material getting, you know, thousands of views, whereas I'll be lucky if I get 100 views. And they do exactly what I'm doing. They just talk at the camera. You know, it's not like they're even using other people's pictures and video footage. So, you know, I must have really just pissed everyone off. You know, everyone's just tired of me, I guess. But, you know, the old faithful are here, so we carry on for them. But, you know, after, like I say, what they did to Herb, whose channel was just kind of wiped out, you do wonder, you know, what the whole point of this is. You know, what is the point of this if they suppress what you do? Or maybe they don't. Maybe I'm just, like I said, maybe I'm just crap. Because there's no transparency, you're always left asking questions. 1 week, a Better Call Saul review I did had 1,000 views. The following week, it barely scraped 75. And again, I had a good run where I was going like 300, 400, 1,000, 70, 75. And you're going, now you're telling me there ain't something going on here, you know? I don't know. Or it could be somebody that's just playing with me and getting, you know, buying artificial views. Who knows? You could go paranoid, couldn't you, if you thought about this stuff? So I don't think about it, but it's constantly there to remind me when I log into the YouTube dashboard. In the old days, you could turn that shit off. You could actually hide the bits about your stats, but you go in and it's there every day. Every day you go in and it's there, and they're telling you you're not doing well enough. You're not doing well enough. You should do more videos. You're not getting enough views. You did better last month, and this month you're doing terrible. And again, if you're young or you're impressionable, it's going to really mess with your mind. And I don't think it's very fair. And I think they should just hide that stuff away. Maybe you can, I know, toggle it off, or you have to put in a password to get to it. I don't know. I just don't think it's fair on people to have that kind of pressure thrust into their faces all the time. You know, even I'm tired of it, and I'm a boring old fart who's seen it all. You know, even I get a bit tired. It's like, oh, come on, guys, give it a break. You know, but it's there, always there, just kind of just in your face. You know, and you don't need it. I don't know if I can. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh, I've got Herb's channel there. I've logged into Herb's channel. So I'm just waiting. for the channel dashboard. Do 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 do. I think it's worse in the studio thing. But yes, it's look, it puts a lovely little message. Puts a lovely little message up for you, where it says to you, it says, it gives you, look, I'm here, and normally I'm up here. It says your videos received 37% less traffic than usual from YouTube search results. Why is that? Viewers watched your videos from recommendations on YouTube 24% less often than usual. Why is that? Is it anything I've done? Because I'm just doing what I normally do. Subscribers chose to watch your content after seeing your videos in their subscription feed or notifications 46% less often than usual. I get it. You're subscribed and you don't like what I'm doing. Oh, you're such a fickle lot. Oh, you're such a fickle lot. I ask you what you want and you go, yeah, just do what you do. And I do, and you don't watch it. But, you know, you got that in your face all the time. And it's like, you know, the other message the other day was like, huh, you've only done 29 videos this month and you normally do 32 to 38. That's because sometimes I do like a coffee time or whatnot. And it's like, well, you know, okay, I had a couple of days off where I didn't fancy doing a video. I was doing some recording instead. I'm allowed to do other things. I'm allowed to see other people. God damn it. Cosmic says, do you get hay fever? I used to. But ever since the diabetes, I don't. Hooray! Grant says, when you first came on YouTube, you had ambient music in the background, but your views were high. I don't know, maybe ambient music in the background. Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. That was a very long time ago, but that was a different time. That was when everyone loved me, and I didn't piss them off by, I don't know, reviewing a Marillion album or a Stephen Wilson album to their requirements. Problem with the ambient music stuff is I've got it all protected now, so I get a copyright flag for my own music, and that makes things really complicated. I can reintroduce ambient music again, but I'd have to like record some stuff specially for this and not publish it and just have it kind of, you know, floating around for these videos. I can do that, but I don't think it really adds anything to what I'm doing. I don't know, does it? I don't know. I didn't think it added anything. I just thought it made you feel very, very sleepy. You're feeling very, very, very sleepy. Shelley says, you're good at what you do, don't ever change. Well, I can't change. I'm old and stupid. I can't change. This is all I can do, I'm afraid. You know, I thought about changing the other day and then I laughed and sobered up. Oh boy. So yeah. I've done 50 minutes. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. I've opened the chat up to everyone. Where's all the fake accounts? Unless you're all fake accounts. Oh God, even my troll's given up on me. Oh no. Oh, I missed my troll. Where are you, troll? Pegasus, where are you, man? He never came back. I wonder if Payne's out there, because I know Payne said he had trouble the other week logging in. And I don't know why, because he's not blocked. But he might be asleep. Oh, wait a minute, I've got a message. He's probably blocked again. Oh. There's no block on commenters at the moment, unless there's a bug in YouTube making it that there is, but I turned it off. Oh, can I edit this? Can we fix that? Is that customization? No, it's done it. It's, yeah. Yeah, wait a minute. Let me turn that back. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It turned itself on again. The bloody bugger. Now I know what is going on. It seems to default to the subscriber only setting, even though I turned it off. Oh, now I get all the fakes in now. I had to turn it off because Payne decided to. Oh, I don't know. Ah, dear. Where am I? Lost the thing. Grant says it was very relaxing when I was getting yelled at work. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I suggest you listen to some of my ambient music instead. G-Man says, I know of a YouTube channel where an average of, wow, I can't even say that number, 1.9 million of his 2 million subscribers don't watch his vids. Yeah, again, the whole subscriber thing. I mean, crikey, back in the day when let's say I had 20,000 subs, because it was heading that way. I would have had 20,000 subs if I hadn't nuked the channel. But it was weird because you have these people subscribe, but they don't actually do anything. They don't watch anything. They don't interact, and you wonder if it's all a bit of a con, really. You know, I don't know. I've never really understood the whole why there was such an emphasis placed on the subscriber metric when views are always king. So yeah, subscribers is like a false metric. I wouldn't even take any notice of that. Again, if I did a Pink Floyd video, which I probably do, I'm probably going to do. I'm going to give in. I'm going to do a Pink Floyd video. I'm going to do it because I've got to be able to pay for. I've got to be able to pay for this place. I've got to be able to pay for doing YouTube videos. So I have it. I'm just gonna show everyone my Pink Floyd discography, the Pink Floyd collection of vinyls. What do you think? That'll get some views, isn't it? Yeah, we can do that, and then everyone will love me again. Everyone will love me and want to be my friend, my special prog friend. Shelley says, did you ever watch Nightmare? Yes, I did. For those of you who aren't in the UK, it was a kids' TV programme which utilised green screen technology, and little kids would play like an adventure game, like Dungeons and Dragons, and there'd be like a games master, and they'd fight goblins and trolls, and it was very clever. It was very clever for the time, a bit cheesy, but the whole point was to get into the story of it. And again, if you're a kid, and I was a kid, a bit old for it, just a little bit old for it. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little thing, and it was when TV was inventive and creative. But then I'll say, yeah, but I'll see your Nightmare, but I'll raise you the adventure game, Droogie Rev. But there you go. Grant says, you still rule as far as I'm concerned. That's very nice of you to say. I don't want to rule. I just want YouTube to treat me with the damn respect I deserve. No, I just think it happens to a lot of smaller creators. We just seem to get kind of in the digital ghetto. Some creators are allowed to just grow and grow and grow, and the rest of us, we just, I don't know, subsist. Just doing our little thing. Having a very small core audience. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's that idea of growth. And I have people who say to me, God, I've only just found your videos. And I go, I've been doing this for fucking 11 years, haven't I? Yeah, 11 years I've been doing this. And crikey, it's taken them 11 years to come across me. Missus. Usually takes me about, 2 minutes. Oh dear. Man, oh man. Bjorn says, finally I can comment again. I'm sorry, Bjorn. That wasn't my fault. That was YouTube's fault, because I turned that off. It says we've got 104 views, but only 32 viewers. How can you have 104 views and 32 viewers? That means people must have been coming in and going out and not staying. Probably because they couldn't comment. It's probably all the fake accounts, wasn't it? Oh dear. Andrew says, Pink Floyd is a winner, absolutely. Grant says, most viewers have this thing about pressing the like button. Oh, yeah, well, I have to do that. I have to say, can you press that? I don't want to do it because I feel like stupid because you should automatically know that. But I'm a bit select with what I like because then it gets shared to my Twitter feed, you know. So I only want people to watch the videos that I think are worth watching. So I don't like everything I see. But then, you know, I watch a lot of big YouTubers. I don't promote any little people because they're horrible and scummy and they don't deserve success. I deserve the success. That's a joke. I am joking. People will believe that and say, "Oh, look at him. He's being mean. He's being mean." Also, I watch it on the TV as well. It's not like watching it on your phone or on the telly because, you know, I tend to just put a video on and I put the remote down. And if I want to like things, I make it really difficult for you to like stuff on the TV. So I do a lot of my YouTube viewing on big telly with big speakers, you know, like I'm watching telly. Oh wow, there's been another shooting in Texas. 14 children and a teacher. Oh, those silly bastards. Oh dear. Mike says so he wants to stop by and say hi. Hi. G-Man said, did you have a favourite cartoon show as a kid? My favourite was Top Gat, or aka Boss Cat. Was it Officer Dibble, wasn't it? GTC, here comes Officer Dibble. Yeah, Boss Cat was okay. I like Battle of the Planets and crikey, too many to mention. Hong Kong Phooey, can't do that anymore. There's just so many, you know, from the Hanna-Barbera stable. Crikey. Who remembers Godzilla? Up from the depths, 30 stories high. He touches God, I'm breathing fire. Godzilla and Godzuki. Who remembers that one? But yeah, I'm old. I don't remember anything now. My childhood memories have been replaced by watching Teletubbies and In the Night Garden, Iggle Piggle, and that Wabaloo for the kids. But that seems like ancient history now too. Chris Crouch says Pink Floyd idea is excellent. Maybe rank your vinyls. We don't do rankings here because rankings for wankers. Remember that. Rankers are wankers. That's a t-shirt idea. Rankers are wankers. I like that. Oh, that's catchy, isn't it? There's nothing worse than ranking things because guess what? You know, you change. I can change on a day-by-day basis. How arrogant is it of you to say, oh, well, I like this album and that album? I jokingly say my top 5. You know, there are like a handful of albums that I would like, you know, take to. I prefer Desert Island discs, that kind of thing, rather than a ranking, because rankings for wankers. Oh, Dennis Pennis is trending. I wonder why. Are they bringing him back? Oh, it's some sort of. Oh, it's Sam Coates doing a thing for Sky News where he looks like he's doing Dennis Pennis. Ah, I love Dennis Pennis. Who says, all right, Darren, absolutely, I'm fine. Pink says, hello, Darren, hope you're doing fine. I'm doing fine. Wacky Races has to be one of the all-time classics, isn't it? With Hooded Claw. I'll get you, Penelope Pitstop. Go get 'em, boys. Anthill, the Anthill mob. Yeah. And then Penelope Pitstop had her own spin-off from Wacky Races, didn't she? You know. Oh, fuck me. You can tell I've had a wasted life. My goodness, I've had a wasted life. Grant says, ask the viewers what topics they want to hear to talk about and reviews they want you to do. No, don't ever ask the people what they want. They don't know what they want. Never ask the people. Keir Starmer, exactly. They want Keir Starmer. Bjorn says, I've been able to comment since Putin invaded Ukraine. I'm sorry about that, Bjorn. That's because we had a flood of fake accounts. And you have to be a subscriber. And, who cares? Let the fake man come in. I need all the attention I can get. I'm feeling lonely without the faker. Mr. Faker, you're just a fakey fake baby man. Mr. Faker. Andrew says, do you remember Monkey? Oh! I can't do Monkey because people will say I'm racist. So I'm not doing Monkey. I nearly did it, but no, you had to be there. We all did impressions of Monkey back in the day, but no, it was a different time, and we are enlightened now. Tripitaka, eh? Tripitaka. It's played by a woman. I'm allowed to do that over Tripitaka. She died really young, I believe, didn't she? Oh, but I remember Monkey. Now, there was an arcade game, right? There was an arcade in our chip shop, arcade game based on the Monkey Legend, where you played a little monkey on a cloud. And I can never find the bloody game. I've never been able to find it. There is a game that's a bit like it, which I found on the Nintendo Switch. It was one of those arcade classic type games. But there was a specific game that was based on Monkey, where you were on a flying cloud and you were throwing like little shurikens at the enemies and flying over mountains. It sounds like I've dropped something and I'm having an hallucination. But no, it really did happen, because I shoveled a load of 10p's in the chip shop. Who remembers when they started putting that bag of chips up to 20p? Do you remember that? Do you remember when that happened? God, it broke my heart. That's when I knew that the world was a cruel and uncaring place. Anyway, went a bit off topic there. Starmer is coming, Starmer is coming, Starmer is coming, Starmer is coming. All you got to ask Starmer is, what is a woman? And he goes, and then runs off like a frightened deer. If anyone says it's complicated, they're doing it wrong. They're doing biology wrong. It's really easy. G-Man says, do you remember the Sunday show with Katie Puckrick? It wasn't Donna Air, was it? The show where Dennis Pennis started on. Oh God, I can't remember the title of it. But I'm sure if I put Dennis Pennis into Wikipedia, it will tell me everything I need to know about him, and I don't have to use my brain. It was a Sunday show. There you go. It was on a Sunday. Oh no. Paul Kay's of Jewish background. Oh no. Doesn't bother me. I'm a big Larry David fan. But yeah, Dennis Pennis' character came up after he was on The Word, and he had to interview Oliver Reed in his dressing room, and he thought that Oliver Reed was going to kill him, and then that's how Dennis Pennis was created. But yeah, he appeared on the Sunday show in 1995, and then he got his own spin-off show, I believe, or like was compiled from. I mean, crikey, it only lasted for like 2 years, you know. But those were the days. Those were the days. Lee Russell says, Monkey Tip, fabulous film, is also bringing out the Pertwee Wurzel Gummidge on Blu-ray. Oh yeah, me and the missus, we're Wurzel fans, you know, separate. I mean, I didn't know her then because she was like a kid. But yeah, I used to watch dun 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 dun. That's the music, isn't it? Dun 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 dun. Something like that. or have I just done the Waltons music or Little House on the Prairie? I always get mixed up. But yeah, I like the Wurzel Gummidge, because what's her name was in it who died? Everyone's dead. Charlotte Coleman. That was one of her. I had a thing for her. Not in that way. I just used to like her because she was in that Marmalade show, and because I used to think she was great. You know, not like that. You think I just liked everything she was in. I liked I thought she was such a good actress. Oranges Are the Only Fruit. She was in that as well, and she died tragically young. And oh man, oh, you're just getting me down again. You're getting me down. But yeah, that could be good because they brought it back, didn't they? With what's his name? That guy who was in that thing. And they made Wurzel Gummidge look like a fucking nightmare, and it was very, very PC. It was very woke. Very woke. It was very woke. El Coyote says, "Do you know a band called Men I Trust?" Nope. Their song's called Seven. Is one of the best guitar I've heard recently. I doubt it's probably better than my guitar solo from God Pays Debts Without Money, which is probably the greatest guitar solo recorded like ever. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Yeah, I can say that. I believe it. But no, I haven't heard them. Who says, have you checked out any of the DBA, Jeff Downes, Chris Braid albums? Why would I want to do that? I might as well go and slam my dick in the door. I'd rather do that than listen to Downes Braid Association, whatever it's called. Oh. Grant says, thank you for the Better Call Saul reviews. Love that show. Me too, but I don't like Kim and Jimmy anymore. Not after today's episode. This morning. I always liked Howard. I always liked him. I always saw him as someone who was trying to do good in the world, you know. But it's interesting because we live in times where we're victim to the politics of envy, and so if somebody is white, middle class, successful, we've got to envy them because maybe they had it given to them and whatnot. But my experiences of business and realising that you have to pay people to get things done, you realise that people who work in the legal side of things, whether it's in insurance or in the law, you realise these people have a professional outlook, and that's how you get your job done, and so they have a way of holding themselves. And so I always saw Howard as the good guy. He was the innocent in this, and he always wanted the best for people. He never said, oh. And it's a shame because they corrupted him. Again, I normally watch the episode twice. I usually watch it on my own and once with the missus, but the missus watched it with me this morning. I said, because you've got to watch it with me this morning because it's a big ending, and I know Howard's going to get it. And, I won't be able to contain it all day. I'll be so miserable, until the evening. So we watched it together. But I was thinking about it, and I realised they corrupted him, because at the very end he's a vengeful Howard. He's like the guy, come on, he's the compromise. He's the guy that's going to try and, let's resolve this. Let's try and bring the best out of people. Even the boxing match, that was his attempt to settle the score. Let Jimmy get it out of his system. Take a hit at me, man. Come on, let's settle this. He wanted to level it, right? But Jimmy wouldn't fight fair, and that's what that was all about. In the ring, Howard was the professional, and they didn't fight fair. To even, I'm going to sneeze. I caught it just in time, and they corrupted him. Because he was a vengeful Howard, and it would have been a shame we never saw him in action, because he said, I'm going to put this to rights. And then, unfortunately, spoilers, that never happened. But yeah, I don't really care. Well, we know Jimmy survives, but me and the missus, Mrs. and I, we were theorising. We theorise, In Breaking Bad, Jimmy Saul thinks that Lalo's still alive. Mind you, still thinks Nacho's alive. Ignacio, he says. Is it Ignacio or Lalo put you up to this? So he thinks Lalo's still alive. Maybe Lalo doesn't get killed. Maybe he's outnumbered. But what does he want Jimmy and Kim for? That's the big question. What if Jimmy's not on the run from the law? Because he even says to Walter White, you should just face up to it. You should just face the music. Because again, I believe Jimmy would probably face the music if he knew he'd done something wrong. You know, if he really knew he was in it, he'd face the music. We got to thinking, what if he's actually on the run from the cartel? What if it's Lalo he's avoiding as Gene up at the Cinnabon? What if that's it? Maybe it's not the law he's scared of. Maybe it's the cartel. Because let's face it, the cartel aren't up in Nebraska. And maybe he's actually frightened of, I don't know, Kim walking through the door. Because, you know, she's never going to go back to Nebraska because she always fought her way to get out of there. It's the last place she would think of looking for him, because maybe she is a friend of the cartel. Maybe that's how she survives. Maybe Lalo wants her the same way Mike respects her, and they don't respect him. He's la cucaracha, he's the cockroach. You know, no one respects Jimmy, but they respect Kim. Who knows? We were just theorising, but we'll find out. We've got 6 weeks to wait, and we've got another 6 episodes, so we'll find out. But, you know, Vince Gilligan and Thomas Schnauz said that that we would think about we would think about Breaking Bad in a completely different light. It will completely change our view of that program. I mean, then that would indicate that maybe there's somebody else behind it all and pulling the strings. Maybe Kim is, you know, Scarface. You know, maybe she's the Scarface and she's telling Gus what to do. You know, I don't know, because who knows? I don't know how it could change our perceptions that much. I don't know, but we'll wait and see. We've got, like I say, 6 weeks and 6 episodes, and it's all going to be revealed. Owen says, good actor Paul Kaye. Yeah, he is. He was in Game of Thrones and everything, wasn't he? El Coyote says, damn, today's episode was crazy good. I don't know if it was good. Bad, man. 4 Weddings of a Funeral. Never seen it. Never will. Cushion said, I had a thing for Sarah Green. Very attractive woman. Went off of her because the whole Mike Smith thing. Because Mike Smith died, right? And she blocked his episodes of Top of the Pops being reshown on BBC 4. So I'm no fan of Sarah Green. But I get where you're coming from. When she was doing, was it Blue Peter back in the day, you know? But then, Leslie Judd, man. I was a Leslie Judd kind of guy. And I don't go for blondes. But there's a clip on BBC Archive out today where she's talking to Bill Bruford. You might know him. I think he plays some instruments, and she's talking to Bill Bruford, and she knows her drums, and you go, oh, that's why I like her. She's a knowledgeable lady. Mackenzie Crook, yes, the fella. Yeah. Lee Ross says they're all dying. Coleman, Stubbs, Vangelis, yeah, exactly. Who did a version of your edition of Coming theme tune? Yeah, that's it. It's close to that, isn't it? Cummage, damn spell check. Exactly, you've got to get it right. And says, crikey, is this still going? You talking about me? Or the live stream? You talking about me? Why would it stop? And why would it stop? Lee said, Sarah Green in Ghostwatch was quite good. Yeah, I remember that. Craig Charles, not so much. I met him in Manchester bar many years ago and had an autograph. Pipes wasn't bad. Craig Charles is alright, isn't he? Craig Charles is alright. Have I heard of King Cruel? I've heard of them. Oh dear. But Craig Charles, imagine if, I don't know, Doctor had continued. We could have had Craig Charles as the Doctor. I think that would have been really cool. You know, instead of him wasting his time on Red Dwarf. Oh dear. Oh, Doctor Who. What happened to you? Oh dear. Anyway, where are we? Let's do it. How long have we got left? Got another 12 minutes and then we've done an hour and a half. Any more for any more? Any more female? Owen says, just getting to the doors out. Any albums you can recommend other than best ofs? I've got a soft spot for LA Woman because I bought it in Woolworths on vinyl for 99p, and it's got Riders on the Storm, into this house we're born, a dog without a bone. I think that's how it goes. It's been a long time since I've done it, but no, I like the Doors. I've expressed my my admiration for them, but I do think Best of the Doors is a mighty fine collection. Oh dear. Nate Lewis says, I just saw your review of latest Jeff Parker album. I thought the album was okay. I was like, the label that put it out, International Anthem, led me to some amazing forward-thinking music. I got Parker's the Relatives because I did a reissue of that, but I didn't review it. I haven't reviewed it. Maybe I should review it. Maybe I should, God damn it. Maybe you should, Darren. Maybe you should. El Quixote says, have you watched Severance yet? Best show I've seen in years. This is what I mean. I did a bloody video on it. Are you winding me up? Are you that fake person? Are you just winding me up now? I'm going to go and I'm going to get you the link. You can watch my thoughts on it, okay? Because I do these videos and no bastard ever sees them because, I don't know, reasons. Maybe I make too many videos. Maybe I make too much shit. I don't know. But I did Severance review a few weeks ago, 20th of April. Crikey, over a month ago now. And you can read that here. Okay, there you go. You can read it. You can watch it even. You can read it. You can read it with your eyes and ears. Crichton's K9, possibly. Colson says, have you seen Barry with Bill Hader? I've seen the trailer, but I didn't fancy it because he's like a hitman who goes to drama classes, and I thought, really, and I'm kind of invested in Better Call Saul, but I might watch it. Again, I'm worried that some of these shows, if you watch them, they'll cancel them before they run their natural path. So if I know that it's come to an end, I might binge it and watch it. Bill Hader's very watchable. He's very good in the recent series of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He makes a little guest appearance, which is quite funny. So yeah, and Winkler, he's the Fonz, man. Christian says, always remember around the time she published her sex book, Dennis Pennis asking Madonna if she'd be putting out any internal organ pics. Oh, he did loads of stuff like that. It's alright, don't have to apologise. I'm not, I swear. Okay, I believe you. Alex Blunt says, you make videos since when? I don't know. I don't make videos, I just sit in front of a camera. I don't actually do anything because making videos doesn't get me any views, so it's best if I just sit here and talk at you like I do. So, I just squirt my digital detritus onto the web and hopefully some unsuspecting fools will watch it. Zero Dave says, greeting from the US. Greetings. Mutton says, how come your subscriber count keeps disappearing on your channels? Because I turn it off. Because it's not relevant. I've got 3,800 subscribers on this channel, and like I said, it's not relevant at all. Just ask me, Garrett. You're every week. Just ask me, if that's even you. Russell says, do you play any Vangelis after hearing the news of his passing? I gave another bit of a blast. No, I didn't. Lucky says, do you like any of these faces? Peter Green, Donovan. Yes, why not? Munton says, never a dull moment with Curb Your Enthusiasm. Absolutely. W says, what's the worst thing that's happened to you in your entire life? Doing this YouTube channel? Jason says, Barry's at season 3 at the moment. Do you know if it's been cancelled? if it's got a story arc that needs to play out over maybe 2 seasons? I don't know. again, I do worry about investing time in stuff and it not coming back. Again, with Severance, I took a risk with that one because season 2 hadn't been announced, and I was hoping it was going to resolve itself in one season. But we've got season 2 coming, so and I didn't spoil it. It was a spoiler-free review, so no spoilers. Go watch it. It's really good. Apple Plus, well worth the £5. Russell says, I was very disappointed that they didn't let the last season of Glow be commissioned. This is what I mean. That's the wrestling one. I was nearly going to get into that because I thought it looked like an interesting take on things. Plus, it's ladies' bits and that, might be a chance of a camel toe here and there. But I thought it looked interesting. But I've been stung before because these multi-series season things have a habit of just dying on their arse, when they start working, Christian says the head honchos at YouTube are obviously Steve Wilson fans. I think it's because they're easily antagonised. I'll have to review the fucking album when it comes out. No, I don't want to. I will tell everyone I'm only doing it for the views. I'm only doing this for the views, Maybe. I'll review it without actually listening to it. What do you reckon? Do you think I could do that? Do you think I could review the album without actually listening to it? Not even I've done that before. What would I say? That could be. That's the challenge. That's it. I'm going to review the album without actually listening to it, and I'm just gonna do like a parody of myself talking about Stephen Wilson, and see if that works. Or is that a bit rubbish? It's a bit of a rubbish idea. Maybe I won't do that. I don't know. Is it on? Says, what do you think of new Doctor Who? I haven't seen it yet, but I didn't want Russell Davies taking it over because he's had his time. I wanted a new showrunner. I feared that he was going to do all the same old bollocks because he's obsessed with, certain... I don't want to say the woke word, but I'm going to say the woke agenda. And he's pandering to a Netflix/TikTok audience with his casting. And I spoke about this before because there was a lot of money involved because Sony have brought up Bad Wolf, his production company, and they've got the whole sole responsibility of making it. I was hoping that Sony would put a load of money in it and they'd get a big name actor so they could sell this to other territories. By what he's doing, that means the Chinese ain't going to watch, and certain countries with different values aren't going to watch the show. Don't get me wrong, I don't care. I just think the casting's a big mistake because it's like, and people go, oh yeah, but no one had heard of Tom Baker. He was in the bloody Voyager Sinbad film. His face was on film posters. You just go, all right. No one had heard of David Tennant, even though David Tennant had a varied career and been in Casanova adaptation that Davis had done. No one had heard of, I don't know, Matt Smith. That's funny because I'd watched him in a police cop drama and he had an East End accent in that, and I thought he was really cool. I thought he was a really interesting actor, so I'd heard of him. Oh, no one heard of, etc., etc. So you get a bit tired of that. But the new guy might be all right. You got to be careful because people think, oh yeah, he's racist because he doesn't like black people. It's like, no. I think a more high profile. I always wanted Patterson Joseph to take the role. Make him, because he'd been in it like Capaldi, and I like it when they reference. You had it with Colin Baker. Karen Gillan had been in it before, Capaldi. So getting someone like Patterson Joseph to do it, and again, he's an established name, would have worked. But you need a big hard hitting black actor. Lenny Henry, man, get Lenny Henry in. I'm joking. Lenny Henry played Doctor Who in the 80s and he did a little spoof of Doctor Who for his own TV show. So for me, the first black Doctor Who was Lenny Henry. So, I like to say that joke. But no, I wanted star power. I wanted there to be like a big name in the TARDIS. And now we have a transgender person doing it and you just think, oh, here we go. here we go. So I'm tired. I'm just tired of this message being shoved sideways into me. And, you know, it's like, okay. And that's that. That's my thoughts on Doctor Who. Cancel me now. You know I'm a TERF, so you know I'm tired of explaining reality to fantasists. So, you know, sex is real, gender is a construct, you know, and sex is immutable. You know, unless we can change at a genetic level, we'll always be what we were born at. Our sex is observed at birth, not assigned. Again, they've changed the language. They've mangled the language into this pseudo, almost a religion. Again, and a religion and a cult always ask the non-believers never to question it. Okay, so you can't question it, and so that's an odious aspect of the whole trans thing. Transgender's made up because, you know, transvestite, transsexual, umbrella term. That's done to conflate language, to confuse people. And so when they talk about it, you go, oh, but trans people are okay, because you think they're referring to transsexual people who've had the operation. You know? But they're not. They're talking to people who are effectively transvestites, which are another thing. But hey, I'm a woman now. I don't know if you noticed that. My pronouns are she, her. How dare you misgender me? That's how ridiculous it is. You know, and we live in strange times. And, you know, I'm the person who believes live and let live. But, you know, I'm just fed up with being beaten over the head constantly by people, by mainly white, straight men in dresses who say they are a repressed minority, when we all know the most repressed minority are the disabled and will always be overlooked, forgotten, the most murdered, abused, targeted, used for cuckooing, look that up, etc, etc. But we don't talk about those folks because they're not like us and they can never be like us. And so, yeah, that's that. So come at me, you know, come at me. And the reason I was piqued is because what my daughter and son are being programmed at their schools at the moment with all this crap. And it is crap. It's all out of the Stonewall bloody guidebook. Instead of teaching tolerance and understanding and love and compassion, we're taught. My daughter in her classroom was told never question someone about whether or not they've had the surgery. So if a man comes into a change room dressed like that, she's not allowed to challenge him. That's what they're telling my daughter. And I think that is a safeguarding issue, because my daughter and any woman has a right to know if a man is in their safe spaces, because 99% of all rape and sexual assault are caused by men. I know that. That's statistically fact, you know. But hey, we're not allowed to ask questions because, hey, the whole house of cards crumbles. But there we go. Bet you wish you never asked now. But I'll reserve. My fear with Doctor Who is we're just going to retread old ground, and I wanted new. Like Chibnall did new things, and a lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed his run. I thought it was good. The same way as I enjoyed the last series of Moffat's run, where he finally got rid of all that. Oh, I've got to do a grand plan with a crack, which leads nowhere. You know, he finally relaxed and told some stories. But I fear with Davis is that, we're going to do it all again. We're going to bring back Tennant. We're going to bring back Catherine Tate. We're going to bring back everyone. Do we have to do that? But you can't bring back Eccleston, because Eccleston refuses to work with Davis. And that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about the man. You know, that's that. Have I heard Swedish band Ghost? No. Russell says, is that 2 Space 99 Eagles flying above your head? Exactly, it is. There's 2 of them. I got them on. I've got them on offer. I got one on. Well, one I think. Yeah, they have these things where you get vouchers, but one I got a good deal on. I'm just waiting for the 3rd one, and then I have 3 of them. Because I'm a big Space 99. I had a die-cast Eagle. I had maybe 2 or 3 of them. because I had a green one as well. I had like the white one and the green one. I may have had a third one. And when these came up on Eagle Moss, do them, and they did a big promo, and I thought, oh, I've got to have those because I'm a big fucking baby, ain't I? Like everyone else on the internet. It's the one thing. It's the one thing I couldn't resist. I did do a video, but you might not have seen it because YouTube. I did do a video where I unboxed it. Let's see if I can find it, eh? Let's just post all the links in the YouTube. Here we go. Get a shareable link. But there you go. Jason says, Presence USA's first album was amazing. Never got a second album. I like the first two albums. Cushion says, watch Liam Gallagher documentary promo thing on Sky Arts. Yeah, he's exactly the same as always. A lifetime of fame and wealth has virtually no effect on him. I've seen. Is that the one where he's jogging and people come up to him? I mean, the thing is I like both the Gallagher boys, right? I like them both, right? They're a pair of gobby shites, right? And I like that. I like that. But you know, they're never going to make up, are they? They're never going to make up. Dave said, Alan Davis. Oh no, so I've gone and skipped one. Sorry about that. Garrett says, I don't remember if this might have popped up, but did you ever see any Britpop concerts or festivals? I saw Supergrass. Supergrass, yay. I've told that experience as part of the, I think I did, part of my gig thing. Oh, Black Graper, epic. Dave says, Alan Davis could have been a good Doctor Who. I like Alan Davis, but I wanted Reese Fans. Imagine Reese Fans dressed in his Victorian funeral director's outfit, the one he wears in the Oasis video, I believe. Do you remember? Imagine him as the Doctor. Now that's who they should have got. Now people know him. He's well known. He's going to be in the new Game of Thrones spin-off, isn't he? But he's always been my pick as a new Doctor. Somebody big and imposing, and you know, who looks a bit alien, you know. And I don't think this new guy looks particularly alien enough, you know. I kind of wish they'd got Ollie Alexander to do it now, because he was the front runner, wasn't he, when they first announced this, because he'd done It's a Sin. But you know, it is what it is. I'll judge it when it's on. I don't know. Again, there's a problem. I don't even want to bother because I feel like we just the 60th. They're doing it with the 60th anniversary, and it's like, oh god, the 50th was bad enough, you know, with multi-Doctor things, and it's like, oh, we're going to do that again. Can't we go somewhere new? I want new. I don't want to keep going. But I don't want to see the fucking Daleks again. I don't want to see the Cybermen again. I want a break from them. I want some new people. Can we do some new things? But we never get new things. We just get the same thing over and over again, you know. And when they do try and do new things, like Chibnall tried to do, nobody liked it. Oh dear. Russell says Doctor Who should have been really meta and should have cast JFK. I think, yeah, a bit of a problem with that one. He has half his brain missing. Lee says, bring back Bonnie Langford. Why not? Saucy. Bonnie Langford's like a fine wine. She gets better with age. And says, Enterprise NCC 7018 is the best sci-fi spaceship bar none. No, it's got to be an Eagle, I'm afraid. Russ says, I have the third Eagle that the Eagle must release. The fourth one is on pre-order. Oh, is there a fourth one coming? Son of a gun. I've missed that on that. I haven't gone back. Never go back. Let me have a look. Now you've got me looking at Eagles again. Eagle Moss. Eagle Moss. Come on, Eagle Moss. Where are we? So is there another one now? Come on. Oh. No, there's only two. There's Eagle Transporter, the Booster, and Laboratory. I've got Transporter in the Laboratory. I need number 2. I'm waiting for number 2 to be in the sale. Unless there's more. Is there more? No, that's it. There's only 3. Where's the 4th one then? Post link. Post link to 4th one. I need the 4th one. What is the 4th one? Rock says, Stranded in Time is a great psychedelic response to Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby. La 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 la. Munton says, what will be the name of this stream? I don't know. Razor says, absolutely reading from Saul. Made me feel ill. Evil geniuses. I told you Howard was the good one. They were stumping to the sound of his downfall. You know that. They were getting it on to the sound of Howard's unravelling. That's not... Kim's a psychopath. No, she wears those earrings her mother stole all the time. Giancarlo Esposito mentioned that in an interview. It's a little detail I didn't notice because my eyesight's not that good and I don't sit that close to the screen. But he mentioned it in the interview because he directed the previous episode with the theft of the earrings. So she's a piece of work. Who is she? We don't know who she is. Mike seems scared of her. That's interesting. Maybe we don't know who her father is. She mentions her father. We know her mother's no good. So who knows? Maybe her father's, in charge of the gang back in Nebraska. Who knows? Maybe she has influence. Maybe that's why she's a criminal lawyer. Who knows? But I don't think Lalo wants Jimmy. I think he wants Kim. Because Jimmy's just a cockroach to him. He's good for getting money in the middle of the desert. Kim's the brains. And poor Howard, I liked his character so much because he was the innocent. He's the Hank. Everyone's been making comparisons to Hank, but Hank was genuinely an awful character at the beginning who actually changes. He actually changes as time goes on. Whereas in this, Howard only changes at that last moment where he becomes vengeful Howard. Because up until that point, he treats everybody equally. He always tries to do the best by people. Take the new guy who drops the soda pop. He could have, pulled rank and picked that up. He helps him. He goes, look, this is what you want to do. And he shares a nice moment with him. It shows you that he cares. He actually cares about people or cared about people in that show. So I don't think the comparison with Hank is quite as true because there's not been the same kind of journey. But we see vengeful Howard. And then, Lalo turns up. And when he arrived in that doorway, I went, oh, God. Oh, no. We're doing that ending. Because I thought he was going to too much to drink and crash his car. I thought we were going to do the car crash ending. Because he turned up drunk, I had so many different... Because I'd seen the picture of Odenkirk had shared in December of him with Patrick Fabian. And there was a visible wound to his head. And so I knew that since December. So it's like, just... head. I thought, again, one point I thought he fell down the stairs and maybe banged his head or fell over because of what they'd given him. They made him dizzy or something and he went into a tizzy, There's all sorts of things. But I read an interview that they were going to do something with the twins, the skateboarding twins, and maybe Howard... accidentally runs one of them over, but it's a dupe, and they use the twins, but they couldn't work that plot line out. So yeah, poor Howard. But we need to ask ourselves, how did they buy the house? Did Kim buy the toilet? Because let's face it, Jimmy wouldn't buy a gold toilet, but Kim would, because it's all about image. Jimmy wants just a regular car. Kim says, buy the big car, because you got an image. Golden toilet, all image, all that stuff in his house, his image. She is Scarface. She is the Scarface in this. We thought Walter is Walter White, but they said that by the end of Better Call Saul, we will see Breaking Bad in a completely different light. And the only way they can do that is if Kim is actually the one pulling all the strings, and maybe Jimmy as Gene isn't on the run from law, but he's actually on the run from the cartel, or Kim even, because, he says to Walter, you should go back and face the music, You get the feeling that if Jimmy, went up before the law, he could probably defend himself and talk his way out of a prison sentence. So why was he running? Other than to, run from the cartel, or maybe a vengeful Kim who is actually pulling all the strings. I don't know. My guesses have been pretty crap so far, so you know. But you've got a lot to think about for 6 weeks. Gyro says, Oasis B-sides are better than some of their A-sides. Alex says, aha, I remembered when I did media at college, they'd made a massive Space 99 style spaceship out of cardboard and just stuff like toothpaste lids and razor handles. Exactly. That's what a lot of back in like the 70s and that's what they did. They used found objects. Star Wars did that with the Death Star. You know, lots of model kits and things, you know, broken down and reconstituted. Lee says Alan Davis was never that good after he stopped drawing Captain Britain. Wah, 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 wah. Razor says, speaking of the Doctor, even though they've walked past multiple sets while they've filmed here and my nan was in an episode, I've never seen it. Well, it's probably for the best. It's for the best. Those said, do you like Vanilla Ice when he came out? We heard of him, you know, old Van Winkle. Yeah, we heard of him. It was shit. Ray says, I'm diving in with the very first episode this week. I'm guessing it will take me 25 years to work through. What, the very first one with Hartnell? My goodness. Or are you watching the pilot? Are you on BritBox? Because you have the pilot of that as well. Again, in those days, it was all done live, you know, in front of the cameras, and you know, that's why it's a little bit shonky. And you've got to remember, Hartnell wasn't in the best of health, so you got to cut him a little bit of slack. Or you just started from Eccleston. It might be better just starting from Eccleston, because there's an awful lot of stuff to take in. You know, I didn't watch them all from the beginning because I'm not that old. I might look that old, but I started in. I guess it would have been Tom Baker. My earliest memory, and I've said this before, was The Deadly Assassin, but I must have only been about 3 or 4 when that aired, because they didn't show. I don't think they showed repeats, but I was terrified by the bit with the train track, and it gave me nightmares for about a week. So I kind of watched it since then, and then when they repeated it on UK Gold, you know, I used to watch the rest of them. I caught up with them then, so yeah. Favourite story, City of Death, you know, obvious. I missed the finale of City of Death to go to Andrea's birthday party because I was in love with her so much, and she invited me to her birthday party, and it fell on the same day as the ending of City of Death, and I waited 13 years to see the ending because I was in love with her so much, and then she moved away and it broke my heart. It wasn't like that. We were only like, I don't know, 9 or 10. We sat next to each other at school and talked and chatted, and we played little jokes on each other, and it still hurts even now. There you go. But yeah, you got a lot of lore to get through. Cushion says, unpopular opinion, I'm sick of all the beards and swords shit. It's like big budget Man of War video. Yeah, well, we've got Game of Thrones coming back. We've got Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of stuff to get through, isn't there? You know. Colson says they should get Warwick Davis to play Doctor Who. Then he would tick all the boxes. I like Warwick Davis. Leave him alone. Again, you know, I just wanted some stuff. I wanted him to like go take on Hollywood. I wanted him to do like a Marvel thing, like what they're doing on Disney with Marvel. You know, you get Oscar Isaac playing Moon Knight. You know, probably one of the lesser known superheroes, but he put in such a good performance. Him and what's his name? Who played the villain? Ethan Hawke plays the villain. You get Hollywood names, and it's about time that they did that with Doctor Who. You know, try and up their game and try and equal what the streaming service is doing, because it's going to end up on streaming. And what Davis has done is he's just got TikTok people and Netflix people in to star, you know, to capture the Netflix audience. Problem with the Netflix audience is they're not loyal. They're not loyal like the Doctor Who audiences. He'll get them in for a couple of episodes and then they'll go, oh, there's something else on Netflix I'm binging, you know. So I think it's a bit of a false strategy. I don't think it's I don't think it bodes well for longevity, you know, in terms of the fandom. But hey, you know, I've been wrong. I could be wrong, but you know, I'm getting the same feelings I got when Sylvester McCoy took over, and that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, Tilda Swinton should have been the Doctor. She would have been great. Now that's what you're talking about, Tilda Swinton. From the time with Derek Jarman, I've been a fan for so long. But yeah, someone like that, star power, you know, star power. What's her name from the Marvel things? Tessa Thompson, someone like that. You know, someone who people know, and you know, if you're gonna, you know, I just feel like it's just got smaller. It's just got a little bit smaller. You know, Razor says, I was almost cheering for Howard at the end there. He verbally eviscerated them rightly. And he also answered back all his critics on the internet and the people that have said, oh, he's privileged and this and that. But we never found out why his marriage fell apart. We never found out. And he mentions debt. He says, I've suffered debt, you know, and maybe his missus will turn up, because they're going to notice he's gone unless they fake it that he's, you know, killed himself or whatnot. But, you know, with Hank getting it, he was a DEA agent, you know, and he'd had a few close calls in the past, if you know what I mean. So I'm not saying it was expected, but it was an earned death. He earned it, you know. When Nacho did what he did, it was an earned death. We knew that Nacho wasn't coming out of this, so it was good. He got the right ending. Howard, he was given a bad deal. They destroyed him as a person, and then they destroyed him as a person, you know, and it was just, you come away from the episode just feeling dirty, forever cheering them on. But why? The missus says, why? I said to her, this is what I can't explain. You know, even you'll ask them, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? They could wait another year and a bit, and they'd have got even more money from the Sandpiper thing. But they wanted it again. He tells them, you're like kids, you wanted your money early. They couldn't wait. But maybe it's the money that buys the big house and not the cartel money, you know. And again, this is what gets me. If you deal with, again, I've dealt with, when I had my insurance dealings, I employed a guy. He wasn't Howard Hamlin, but there's a professionalism, and sometimes you've got to wait to get the result that you want. Sometimes you've got to negotiate, and so I've been on the end of that, so I understand how these things happen. So when Howard's saying, look, we're gonna get the best deal, yeah, we'll make more money, but you're going to make some more money too. I've heard that. You know, I've heard that speech. I've heard this, you know, you've got to be patient, we've got to do this. If you trust me, we're going this way. And that's what you pay those people for. And, you know, Jimmy showed his professional immaturity by, he would have settled for 2 balloons and a goldfish just to win, you know, just to have it as a notch. And that's what's wrong with him as a character, is he's no, and again, Kim's guilty of that too. She's a psychopath. They're both like, he comes in and they're like, you'll be fine. It's like they've done nothing. They've done nothing, you know. And then reality, you know. But I think it's funny when she offers to call him a cab. It's like, oh, you're concerned about me now? That's the level of their psychopathy. Is, oh, now you call me a cab. She was just going through, she just wanted rid of him. I'll call you a cab to take him away, you know. Ugh. Grim character. I was rooting for Kim, but it was like when Walter shot Mike in Breaking Bad. Walter was dead to me. He was dead to me because Mike did nothing. And that's my equivalent of when Walter shot Mike. And it's like, you're dead to me. Lolo, he's a shark. I don't blame him. He was asserting himself, alpha male, you know, it's what they do. He did that to get their attention so he could get them to do what he wanted them to do. They can't refuse him now. Look what I've done. You got a dead body to deal with. You're my bitch, you know. That's where Lolo was coming from. And we'll find out. We'll find out. Gyro says, Lolo has a purity to him though. I think the Salamancas are like bandits, but they're loyal to their family. Well, that's what the cartel is. They're loyal to family. Gus isn't family. He's Chilean. He is outside of them. This is why they hate him, because it's not because he's from a rival family. He's not even Mexican. There's a little bit of racism in there, and that's the problem with Gus Fring. Whereas Gus Fring, he still wants revenge for what they did to his partner. Now, I still believe that fellow, I can't remember the character's name, was his romantic partner. I still think Gus Fring is gay. Not that that's a problem, but I think he's acting out of vengeance. He lost the love of his life. He doesn't have a wife or children. He's fastidious and he likes cleanliness, and he's got all these tropes that tend to lend itself towards, the gay lifestyle. And I believe that he acts purely out of vengeance because he wants to wipe out the cartels out of vengeance for his fallen lover. A lot of people say that theory isn't correct. I think it is, because a man or woman spurned makes that kind of level of vengeance. He's not empire building. He doesn't care about the empire. He just wants the Salamancas gone and all of the cartels bound to him. By the time Breaking Bad comes along. But yeah, Lalo is a shark. He's a shark. He just doesn't care. He's a shark. It's what he does. He's natural. He is what he is. He's not a nice person, but he is what he is. Razor says, I thought their reaction was great. True, genuine horror, not a typical shock movie cast. Oh no, that was the thing. I wonder how they got that reaction. The reaction shot was pretty good. Again, I think that because they were kind of acting, I think it was to illustrate that, when Howard turns up, they're kind of, they're being cool about it, And then, like I say, reality crashes in. It was all artifice. All of that was artifice until Lalo turned up. Then shit got real, And it was horrible. Gyro says the wind on the candle was a cool effect, almost supernatural. Again, it was a portent of things to come. It was like, again, it was almost Shakespearean. Shakespeare did stuff like that, didn't he? As an indicator of something bad happening. Lee says, my all-time favourite wish for a doctor has always been Ian Cuthbertson after Tom Baker wrote in. Oh God, Ian Cuthbertson. I saw him on a train. I was coming back from Ealing when I was a student, and who got on and swept down the car? I was like gobsmacked, because I'm a big fan of Budgie. Hey, Budgie! I used to love that with Adam Faith in it. I love the music to that. It must be 2 minutes to 2 minutes to 1, 5 minutes to 1, because the birds are singing. No, it's not a real bird. I'll tell that story another time. But yeah, and Ian Cuthbertson, he must have been filming at White City or something, and come sweeping down the train carriage. I was actually scared, because he was an imposing character. He was an imposing figure. But there you go, that's the story. Oh dear. Razor says, I'm wondering if Kim or Lalo will survive until the Gene timeline or not. I think they both survive. Or Lalo dies. I mean, again, I got it wrong because somebody put me right. I thought that the meth lab was a different one. I was beginning to think there was 2 meth labs, and the one that Walter and Jesse operated out of was in the middle of the desert, and this one was more in a not residential area, in a industrial area. But I must have remembered it wrong. I just remember the other one being like more remote, and I like the idea of them blowing up Lalo in the meth lab and everything falling in on him and crushing him. Because then it kind of also foreshadows what happens to Gus. He gets blown up, doesn't he? Spoiler. And so I like the idea of Lalo getting buried alive, and then nobody knows about it because it's hidden. Kim wouldn't necessarily know about it. Jimmy wouldn't know about it. And the only person to know would be Gus, and he ain't going to tell anyone. So I don't know. He either is killed off in the lab and buried in the walls. Well, again, which makes you wonder, when Walter and Jesse are working, Lalo's down there with them, or he escapes, and that's who Gene is fleeing. He's fleeing the wrath of Lalo and and Kim, because the whole empire has crumbled. I don't know. We'll wait and see. We'll find out. There are many theories, isn't there? Russell says, I'm going full Diana. That's nice. I've missed a bit here. Razor says, Hartnell stuff, yeah, I'm a completionist. I'm keen to see the whole evolution of it. It's an interesting journey. There's a lot of Trout stuff missing, though, which is a great shame. And I know that stuff through comic strips. Doctor Who magazine used to write about that stuff all the time when I was a kid, and there's some book adaptations that you can read. I think they've done some cartoon episodes. They might have those. I don't know if you're watching it on BritBox, then they might be on there. But God, there's a lot. There's an awful lot. But it goes quick. Once you get into a pacing of it, it will go quick, And it's good. It should be good fun. Though I guarantee when you get to the Bertie Bassett villain, you will turn off. You will turn off. Russell says, "Is celebration playing for the Queen Jubilee?" No. I might shave my head again. That's what I did the last time Brian May played on top of Buckingham Palace. I shaved my head completely bald. That was fun. Blunt said, first episode of Doctor I watched was The Impossible Planet. I nearly shat myself when the Ood showed up. Russell's going full Diana. Oh dear. Razor says, Warwick filmed a cameo for one of my YouTube videos. He's a top guy. Warwick Davis is a fucking legend, man. Lee says, reaction about new announced energy cap. How much? We have the Sue Gray report tomorrow to put another name in it. Well, Rishi Sunak, who is, isn't he something like the 72nd richest man in the world or something, is going to be announcing an emergency budget or something on Thursday, I reckon, because this is getting ridiculous now. Gas energy prices are at the lowest ever because no one's using it. In the old days, we used to have these things called gasometers. These big gas containers that used to go up and down. And we used to fill them with gas. We don't do that anymore. We don't have them. Maybe they were dangerous. I don't know. But where I lived back in Leighton and Walthamstow, there were a number of these gasometers that were filled with gas that was used, and so we'd store gas until we needed it. Now we don't do that now. We buy it when we need it. And that's not good because, of course, there's always going to be seasonal requirements. And, of course, with the war going on in Ukraine, there's supply issues there. Again, the nuclear power plants are out of action. We've got the whole wheat thing that's happening because, Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. There's a perfect storm going on. And we should have been investing in nuclear power years ago. I'm not saying go totally nuclear, but we do need... Our energy does need to be propped up by a few nuclear power stations dotted around, because weren't we supposed to be moving away from carbon fuels? But they want carbon fuels re-registered as green, and you're going, are you kidding? Excuse me, are you mad? The world's just weird, but we're in it up to our ears, and I'm just gonna burn all these guitars to keep warm. Good thing about this place, don't need the heating on in the winter. I only have it on for the kids. When the kids used to go to school, I never used to have the heating on during the day. I used to go in the kitchen and I had a laptop there and I used to work on my laptop and that, and that was it. So, it's all right. It'll be fine. Cushion goes, sandwiches for tomorrow, mate. Brown bread, sliced smoked cheese, coleslaw, cherry tomatoes and mixed leaves. Oh, diabetes, man. Russell says, on a budgie tip, I saw Adam Faith coming out of a roller around Surrey about 30 years ago near Browns. He smiled back, obviously reaction is, that's budgie. Oh, yeah. And Andrew says, it's a good night. It's a good one. Nighty night, it's a good one. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Cushion goes, there's Doctor Who fan. Do you think the CGI is going to age badly? Or worse than the paper mache robots of the past? Yeah. Again, but they can always replace it. That's the thing. With CGI, they can remove those elements and update it. They did it with Star Trek and whatnot and Star Wars. So I think what you could end up doing is having like remastered TV shows. That would be more of a thing. And the CGI elements taken out. They're a bit more careful now with the preservation of the various elements of the show, so they can take stuff out and drop stuff back in again. But yeah, I agree. What do I think of Amber Heard? Amber Turd, my like. And Sanford says, I went to see Beach House in concert. That's nice. I've done a long time. I've been here too long because Razor turned up late and we ended up talking about Better Call Saul. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't, I apologise. Don't forget to like it up, because we've got to do that. We've got to like it up. I want you to get your thumb and I want you to stick it right up me. I want to get it as far in as it will go, and then give it a little wriggle, and to show your commitment to the cause. Do you think we'll have a nuclear war? I hope so. It'd be a bit warmer, wouldn't it? Nuclear winter. I look forward to a nuclear winter. So yeah, good night everyone, and have a lovely, I don't know, whatever time it is where you are. Yeah, nighty night, and yeah, we'll do this all again soon. All right then. Remember, if you can't be good, be safe, but more importantly, don't tell your mother. Tell her.